From my private booth, I watched the man who erased me hold his wife like nothing had ever burned. 7 years vanished in a second.
There seems to be a misunderstanding. The rumors about me and the hybrid girl. She's a beta from a diluted line, distraction, nothing more. Certainly
Not with a scream, with his voice calling me the hybrid girl.
The alliance with the Vasilis family is for the Pack's future. What we had was real. But it's over.
You just told everyone I was nothing.
Blood matters. Lineage matters. What did you expect? For me to throw everything away for a beta?
The next day, he burned the letters, the gifts, the photograph. He didn't end us. He delighted proof I had ever existed. He got the alliance, the status, the suitable mate. Soon he would learn what losing me really cost.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alphas, Omegas, esteemed guests, our final and most exceptional lot. A profound exploration of isolation and memory from the enigmatic, brilliant Lyra. Lot 100, The Abandoned Wolf.
My masterpiece, my revenge, and the first time in 7 years Caleb Silvermane looked like the past had finally found him. Overrated sentimentality, gaudy emotionalism. You see nothing, but he sees everything.
Bidding starts at 500,000.
The hunt was over. The trap was set. Now I would watch the wolf walk in. It wasn't the price that silenced them first. It was the painting. Caleb didn't hear the Critty theme. He was already drowning. He sees the eyes. He always hated that I could paint eyes.
Do I have 500? $1 million. $1 million from the Silverhorn seat. Do I have 1.1?
Caleb, what are you doing? It's a beta's painting.
It's not just a painting, I know that look.
1.5, 1.8, 2 million.
1.5.
This stopped being about art the moment he recognized his own crime on canvas.
2.5.
The room stopped seeing a buyer. It started seeing a man trying to buy back a ghost.
3 million.
5 million. $5 million. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Alpha Caleb Silvermane.
5 million for a funeral pyre. He thought he'd won. He had no idea he'd just purchased the fuse. He thought he had captured a piece of the past. He had just bought the matchbox, and I was still holding the fire.
After the applause came the part he couldn't buy in public: access.
Alpha Silverhouse, congratulations. The artist, Lyra, has requested a private transfer in the Varus room.
We'll both go. I'm dying to meet the genius behind all this feeling.
Miss Lyra, Alpha Caleb Silvermane and his mate, Luna Satelsta Silvermane.
Lyra, your work, it's astonishing.
Thank you, Alpha Silvermane. I trust the piece will be appreciated.
It's more than appreciation. The emotion in it, it's devastatingly real. Have we met? Your presence, it feels...
He's floundering. Good. Let him feel instinct before truth. What is your lineage, my dear? Your technique is so... unique. My lineage, Luna Silvermane, is in every brushstroke. It is the only one that matters here.
The eyes of the wolf. I've seen eyes like that before.
Have you? How unfortunate for you.
The room turned to glass. One tap would shatter it, but not yet. First, I wanted him to recognize the ghost before the fire. The insulted always reach for rank when they start losing. Unfortunate? What an odd thing to say to a patron who just made you a multi-millionaire. Take off that mask. Let's see the face behind the provocation.
Celestia, stop.
The painting is not melodrama, Luna. It is a document, a record of a specific kind of silence, the silence that follows a promise broken, the silence of being erased. I would have thought a woman in your esteemed position would be familiar with the many forms of silence.
Perhaps we should focus on the transfer documents.
The agreed price is $5 million. I will provide the account details for the wire. Turning your back on power is the fastest way to expose how badly it needs your attention.
The money is irrelevant. I need to know. The model for the wolf, who was it?
The model is anyone who has ever been told they are less. Anyone left standing in the moonlight holding the pieces of a shattered future. Does that answer your question, Alpha?
The funds will be transferred to the First Moonlight Foundation?
Every cent. Consider it Alpha Silverhead's generous contribution to a brighter future for those our society often overlooks. A legacy, of sort.
You gave $5 million to a charity? For mongrels?
The payment was extracted. The first crack was visible. Now all I had to do was widen it in public.
Your name. Your real name. Please.
I told you, the only name that matters here is Lyra.
I almost reached the elevator before his wife came after me like wounded pride in silk.
Lyra, halt! You think you can just walk away after humiliating me and bewatching my husband with your trash?
Remove your hand, Luna Silverhand, before you do something we'll both regret. What are you? You're not just some painter. Who sent you? The Blackwood Pack? The Frostes? She didn't trust her eyes, so she used the oldest weapon her kind had. Scent. Smell all you want. The blocker can blur me. It can't save you.
I'll ruin you. I'll dig up every secret, shut down your little foundation, and leave you painting sidewalks for spare change.
Threats from a woman who can't hold her husband's attention in a private room? How potent. Save your energy, Celeste. You'll need it for the fallout.
Celesta, what are you doing?
I'm dealing with the viper you invited into our lives while you stare at her like a brain-ad fool!
Enough.
He stopped looking at my face. He started hunting the memory under the perfume.
Your scent. It's layered. But underneath the blockers, there's a note. Like air after a summer rain in a specific garden a long time ago.
The garden. He remembers the garden. Caleb, what is it?
One touch was all it took.
Sarah?
The blocker blurred. The past broke through.
What did you call her?
I didn't wait for his certainty.
Caleb?
The mask was cracking, and the game had just become dangerous. I left the corridor as prey. I entered the reception as Lyra.
He looked like a man who had seen a ghost. She looked like a wife trying to kill one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged tonight to host the brilliant Lyra herself.
Such a mysterious talent naturally inspires questions. We value provenance, the background of a creator. Surely, Lyra, you wouldn't deny your admirers a glimpse behind the mask? Refuse, and I become a fraud. Accept, and I step into the line of fire. So I walked straight into it.
The inspiration is in the way an Omega's laugh doesn't reach her eyes when her Alpha looks through her. In the distance, an heir keeps from a mate chosen for blood, not heart. In the scorn, a pure blood throws at a servant and crime in the glare of the wrong lineage. My painting is about a promise made under of daylight. It is about being told you are everything, only to be reclassified as nothing. I am the daughter of every betrayed promise, the heir to every love deemed inconvenient. My pedigree is written in the loneliness that thrives in the gilded cages you all call home. The painting is called The Abandoned Wolf, but its true subject is the cowardness of the pack that left it behind. This time, he knew the ghost was real.
The room exploded exactly the way rotten things do when finally split open.
You vicious little bitch. I'll see you destroyed.
You're welcome to try, but you should look to your own house first. It seems to be on fire.
It is you, Seraphina.
I am, but Seraphina died 7 years ago. In a garden. You were there. You lit the match.
I never meant I was young, under pressure. My father, the pack.
You made a choice. You chose your place. Your blood. Your suitable mate. You got everything you wanted, Caleb. Congratulations.
It's empty. It's all hollow. I thought I could forget. I never forgot you.
There it was, the apology the ghost had begged for. 7 years too late to matter.
That's not my name anymore.
Please, we need to talk privately. I need to explain.
You explained perfectly 7 years ago. A beta, a distraction, nothing more. And now you've paid $5 million to a charity for Mungals to own a picture of your own crime. I'd say the explanation is now financially binding.
Mrs. Lyra, regarding the transfer. Alpha Silvermane insists on taking the piece tonight. It's being loaded into his limousine in the underground barrage.
His car. Perfect. He wanted to take the ghost home.
The garage smelled like concrete, oil, and endings. Let him remember that look. Let it be the face he wears when the past answers him in flame.
Let him remember that look. Let it be the face he wears when the past answers him in flame.
The world didn't end with a bang. It started with one wrong sound.
What in the...
Burning oil paint has its own smell, sweet, sick, final.
You.
Yes. Me. The girl you burned first.
Sir, are you hurt? We need to evacuate.
This was not a cry for help, not a plea for attention. It was a declaration of war. By the time I got back upstairs, the fire had already become gossip.
You're a jealous, talentless hack who couldn't stand that your pathetic sob story sold for more than you're worth.
Jealous of what? A marriage held together by bloodlines and social obligation? A fortune spent trying to buy back a feeling you can't even name? Or jealous of a memory so potent it can turn a masterpiece to ash with a single thought?
Why?
He asked for a reason. She asked for a mask. They were about to get both. You asked for authenticity, Luna Silvermane. You asked for my name.
Seraphina, the hybrid girl, Silvermane.
My name was Seraphina. A name none of you would have bothered to remember 7 years ago. A hybrid girl, a distraction, an insignificant beta.
It's her. It's really her.
This is all that was left of the locket he gave me. The one he threw into the fire with our letters, our photograph, our entire history. He tried to burn me out of existence.
Consider it a reply. The room stopped being a reception. It became a reckoning. He finally looked guilty. Not polished, not conflicted. Guilty.
You lying little slut! You kept that trash all these years just to stage this pathetic spectacle. You've been stalking us. You're insane.
Is it insanity to remember being burnt? Or insanity to believe you can burn someone away and face no consequence? You thought Seraphina was a story you could end with a match. But ash has a way of returning, Caleb. It blows back into your eyes. It chokes your lungs. It stains your perfect life. Tonight was just a taste. A $5 million taste.
I was a coward. I was weak. My father, the pack, the expectations, terribly
The
wrong.
apology the ghost had begged for finally arrived in a room full of witnesses. You weren't wrong. You were specific. You calculated the cost of loving me and found me deficient. Don't call it weakness. Call it what it was. A business decision.
You traded me for power. For this.
And now you stand in the middle of the power you chose and want to call it a mistake? You want forgiveness?
You don't get forgiveness. You get a bill. And tonight, you made the first payment.
You think this makes you special? You're still nothing. A bitter nobody with a grudge. We'll still be Silverhems. A nobody?
There it was. The final mistake. She reached for bloodline again because bloodline was all she had left. A nobody? I had hidden the truth behind blockers, manners, and a mask. Celeste had just asked me to stop.
I didn't release all of it. Just enough to let their world smell the lie it was built on.
What are you?
Now he understands. I didn't come back stronger. I came back above the rules he worshipped.
No, this is impossible.
For centuries, you built your kingdoms on bloodlines and called it order. You called me insignificant. You called my blood diluted. You were wrong. My blood is not diluted. It is concentrated. It is what your pure lines have spent generations trying and failing to imitate.
You're a freak, a mistake.
A mistake? No. A correction. The age of judging wolves by the purity of their kennel is over. They wanted pedigree. I gave them origin. Once fear entered the room, truth had somewhere to stand. You traded true power for pedigree. You traded instinct for etiquette. You asked what I am. I am the flaw in your logic, the exception that breaks your rule, the living proof that your world is a lie.
The age of the suitable mate, the proper blood, the correct lineage, it ends tonight. It ends with me.
The $5 million you paid for that painting is now the founding capital of the first Moonlight Foundation. It will educate hybrid children, shelter displaced pack youth, and dismantle brick by gilded brick the system that taught you to see love as a transaction and people as assets.
I funded the thing that will undo everything I chose.
From this night forward, the only purity that matters is strength. The only lineage that commands respect is character. The only proper blood is blood that remembers what it means to be a wolf. I did not run from that room. I dismissed it.
The next time you try to burn someone's world, make sure they're not carrying the match to yours.
7 years ago, he burned a girl and called it necessity. Tonight, that girl walked out as the fire he could never control. The hallway outside the penthouse was dead silent after the storm I left behind. Inside me, the burned girl finally went quiet, not erased, integrated. Seraphina's pain lit the fire, but the force that broke that room tonight was Lyra. It was the prime. We survived long enough to become the truth. The woman in the mirrored walls looked like a stranger. But she was the first honest version of me in 7 years. The mask was gone. The pretense was over. My mind replayed the ending. Caleb on one knee, his alpha essence crushed. Celeste exposed. The city's elite frozen in fear. I didn't just hurt them. I broke the story they live by. I burned their symbol, the record-breaking painting they worshipped. Then I shattered their oldest lie with a scent and one declaration. Pure blood was never supreme. The foundation was no longer a private act of spite. Tonight, I turned it into a banner, funded by the guilt of the very system it was built to destroy. By the time the doors opened, the fire below and the penthouse disturbance had already reached the lobby. Their panic felt small, human-sized. What I had done upstairs was mythic. Let them talk about fire. They still don't understand what really burned. Their panic felt small, human-sized. What I had done upstairs was mythic. Let them talk about fire. They still don't understand what really burned. The night air hit my face clean and cold. It washed off perfume, smoke, fear. For the first time in 7 years, the city felt like something I could define. One message, from the encrypted number tied to the Foundation's board. Marcus, saw the newsfeed clips. The art critique went viral. Donations are already flooding in, quietly. From some surprising sources, the match is lit.
The world heard you. Now it has to choose.
Marcus saw the Foundation when it was still just a bitter dream on paper. He saw the Prime in me before I did, an ally in the Order rising from tonight. Maybe more than that. I said nothing back. Tomorrow would be for building. Tonight belonged to endings. Inside that building, cleanup had already started. Not just such and foam, reputations, myths, power. And this was only the beginning of what tonight would take from him. Caleb's real punishment wouldn't happen in that penthouse. It would begin after the witnesses went home. He would have to face his pack, his father, the humiliation of dropping to one knee in front of the city's strongest lolves.
I was supposed to own the room. How did I end up beneath her?
Then there was the money. His public humiliation was one scandal. Funding a radical charity with his own wealth would be another. He thought wealth made him untouchable. Tonight it signed my banner for me. His marriage to Celeste was already a gilded shell. Tonight's scandal would split it open. Celeste would keep her name, her money, but her social capital burned upstairs with the lies she wore like silk. They can whisper, I am still Celeste. No, she would be remembered as the Luna publicly exposed and outclassed by the hybrid girl she tried to erase. Her future would not collapse all at once. It would narrow. Smaller rooms, fewer invitations, smiles that ended too fast, doors that stayed closed.
And the others in that room? The alphas, the omegas. The ones who felt the prime in their marrow? They would carry that fear home with them.
Some would call it hysteria, some would call it a trick. But the ones who kneeled, the ones who whimpered, would know exactly what touched them. Doubt is enough. A crack is enough. Moonlight knows what to do with a crack. Some would call it hysteria, some would call it a trick. But the ones who kneeled, the ones who whimpered, would know exactly what touched them. Doubt is enough. A crack is enough. Moonlight knows what to do with a crack. I wasn't going back to a penthouse. I was going home to raw space, high ceilings, north light for painting, and the smell of turpentine and possibility.
This your stop?
Yes, right here. Fatigue finally reached me, but it was clean. The kind that comes when a journey actually ends. The revenge was complete. More complete than I ever dared imagine. I didn't just make Caleb regret me. I made his entire worldview obsolete. I took the weapon of my pain and forged it into a key. Now he was the one locked inside the cage. Tonight ended with silence. But it wasn't the silence of defeat anymore. It was the silence before a new order speaks. 7 years ago, the moon watched my betrayal. Tonight, it was waiting to witness what I become next. I stood under the same moon that watched me break 7 years ago. Cold, impartial, unmoved. But tonight, something had changed. It no longer felt like the moon was shining on me. It felt like it was shining for me. I am done surviving under their shadow. The tower was far behind me now. Its upper floors still lit, still pretending power was intact. Inside that tower, they were already scrubbing away soot, smoke, and scandal. But no one there could clean what I left in their bloodline myth. The ghost was finally at peace. Not because she was forgotten, because she had been heard all the way through the fire. You carried me to the end. Now live past it. The artist had made her statement, not on canvas alone, but on power, memory, and the market that tried to own both. The prime heir had announced her era, not with a crown, with ash, scent, truth, and witnesses who would never forget what they felt. The moonlight of the 7th year had passed, and for the first time, dawn felt like it belonged to me. Revenge ended tonight, building starts tomorrow, and this city has no idea what it just unleashed.